So the only way you can get a reasonable picture of who the Buddha was is to actually read what the Buddha said about himself. And then you start to understand what he was. And the picture you get when you start reading what the Buddha said about himself is a very human picture. He is essentially a human being, just like the rest of us. Yes, he was wise. Yes, he was obviously an exceptionally good meditator. He had qualities that, but he was essentially a human being. Even though his qualities were stronger maybe in certain respects than ours, he was a human being. You read the suttas, the Buddha says about himself before he went out in this quest for enlightenment. He said, I am seeking the undefiled because I have defilements in myself. Defilements the Buddha had, when he talks about that, it means he had desires. He had presumably anger and irritation, just like we have, maybe not as much, but he had some there. And of course he had delusion. He didn't understand the world the way it actually is. So the Buddha had defilements. Now surely we can relate to that. We know what defilements are all about. And again, there the humanity of the Buddha comes out when you see these things. Then when the Buddha was getting old later on in his life, this is after he is enlightened, you read in the suttas that Buddha has to stretch out because he has back pains, he has stomach troubles, he has severe stomach pains towards the end of his life. He's getting old, his body is falling apart, his skin is getting wrinkled, just like it does for anybody who ages. And of course, finally, he dies. Now, what does that sound like? It sounds like a human being. It sounds like a human body. It sounds exactly like what's going to happen to all of us eventually as we get older and die. Again, you see the humanity of the Buddha. He was a human being, just like us, just like we are. And because of that, we can relate to him in a very direct way as a human being.